awareness program, which are fantastic programs, but you're only hurting yourself if you're cheating on them. So any program that is required by
But people working with you.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Exactly.
You know, and that's it exactly. But we have taken the high road and said, look, if we're gonna access this and make this access to your property, it has to be proctored. And again, they don't have to come to Sudbury for some of the stuff. We have outlying stations. Book it online, go into Timmins Brookline College, and they will proctor it there.
Do you need upgrades? So I mean, like, I think of refereeing, you have to have a refresher course every so
Well, you know what, if you don't mind, Dan, this year is, all training should be refresher renewed periodically. That's just good business. It's not the law, that's good business.
Not a must
People
yet.
forget, right?
Not a must yet, exactly. It's that ultimate gray area.
We do have the ZES program, which stands for the Zero Energy State, and that's a volley-specific locking and tagging program. We took over that program in 2008 for contractors entering the property because they found that was their #1 incident or accident area. So they invented the program, they made it Ontario-wide, so there was no more, we do it this way in Brampton, we do it this way in Sudbury, slightly different. That training program has to be refreshed once a year. That is twice as hard as any other program Norcat has. Every other Norcat program is 2 years, minus the women's, of course. So every year they go through a refresher program. This year they added another 20 minutes to that program, onto that refresher. So they are watching their people, they're being safe, and they're giving us that responsibility to work with them.
Well, safety is I mean, it's top priority just about everywhere. I mean, even in schools, safety is #1. So I think in an area where, you know, a lack of concentration for 10 seconds can really do an awful lot of damage to people and machinery, I think.
It's funny you mentioned that. It does start in schools, and you know, slips, trips, and falls from heights, still one of the top 3 in industry. How is that even possible? We know that.
Right.
You know that. I know Dan knows that. But yet still, it's there. It's not something scientifically new to you. Slips, trips, and falls. Hold the railing. Use the 3-point contact method. Usually, the fix for this is fairly common, fairly easy, but yet it's still a problem for us.
Take it for granted, or just
Yeah.
a momentary lapse in.
And it's 6-foot ladders. It's stuff we all use at home. It's construction workers. It's a technician on a 6-foot ladder. Everybody's got a 6-foot ladder on top of their work van. It doesn't have to be that 50-foot ladder inside of mine. It's that technician in Sudbury hooking up to a telephone pole or electrical pole 6 feet and falling.
Do people come to Norcat before they've got jobs, or once they get a job, the company sends them to get trained?
Both. Because there some site requirements have to be Norcated. When a company hires myself, I would be required to have this training. They would send me to Norcat to get my Volley ZES program. They would send me to Norcat to get a WIMIS if I did not have one, or the company did not or was not able to train it, as well as I get my Norcat. Now that being said, if a smart person looking for a job in the Sudbury area wanted to have some credentials to put on his resume, and it happens every day, is to walk into Norcat and say, I want to be more hireable. What can I do to make myself be picked up a little easier than the next guy? Then have a WIMIS. Get your locking and tagging program done. Maybe get a Norcat card. It's not that much money, and I don't try and oversell it because they're looking for a job. But if a contractor looks to hire 2 people and one has the training, and he doesn't have to send them in for training for 2 days and pay for it, and the other gentleman has everything sitting in his pocket, anxious to go to work, hungry, then
Not a hard decision.
not a hard decision. And a lot of people do that. A lot of hungry people out there looking for work, and they're coming in and doing the training.
So it's just, people can just walk in and enroll in a program, and as soon as they can get in, they can.
We operate 5 days a week, and each training program is a certain amount of time. So if they say, this is what I need, when can I get in? Well, you know, we get them in as soon as possible. At that point, they're booked in the Norcat database as no company. They've got the training, but they don't work for anybody. 2 days later, Pete's Trucking, I hope that's not a real company. Pete's Trucking picks up John Doe, who's in for training. They inform Norcat, in our Norcat database, he gets switched over to the employer, Pete's Trucking.
Even if he doesn't need what he's been trained for?
No, they call in and we switch him over to Pete's Trucking. So all his training is his, but it's transferred to the company. So the company can now see that John Doe is trained.
Well, that's good. It's good for
We've actually got
person.
Some software, and maybe you better explain it, Dan, for the companies that can watch their own people.
Yeah, we do offer to any of our new clients and any existing ones, we'll set you up with what we call an ISMS database. Basically, it's a LMS or learning management system. Online system, we get a client that contacts us and wants to do training with Greg, maybe wants to come in-house or do the theory portions online, but also know that they need WMIS for all their employees. I've got 30 employees. Tell me what the easiest way to break into or get my entire company standardized with this training. They call up, they send off an email, we can set their company up with the database. Online, user ID, password, they've got access, they sign up their own employees, they keep track of their own employees on a regular basis, and as we were saying earlier with expiry dates specific to courses, they can check to see when John Doe, etc., is expiring from a specific course, and they can either call in, talk to one of us, send off an email, or actually once they're set up with this database, they can process their own orders online. So early in the days with Norcat, we were getting a lot of phone traffic with clients. We were taking care of them, but over the years we found that we're able to allow a lot more access to that client, become a little more self-sufficient. We don't hear from them as much, but we know they're still doing the training in a different method. And moreover, we're finding a lot of the guys that get set up through Norcat are telling their friends or telling their fellow companies about us, and we're getting a phone call, and a lot of the time it comes with I heard about you through such and so from down south. We set them up in the exact same way, set up all the standards for them, and then basically it's just a matter of keeping track of employees in their training records.
I know this isn't your field, but that leads into the next question. How do people find out about Norcat and what your services are? Because this is I think it's a problem for a lot of institutions, is that they have all these nice programs and they do all these nice services for their clients, but the people who may be interested in knowing that, oh, they do this kind of stuff, and I've got no use for them now, but it's nice to know that if I ever do need this, I can change careers quite quickly by maybe getting this, and now while I'm working and looking for a career, I've got something to add to my resume. Like, what do? Do you go out into the schools? Do you do presentations?
We do some presentations, mainly up north, to employment agencies where they've got clients looking for work, unsure where the client should work. Are they going into forestry? Are they physically moving? Can Norcat help them? Our technicians on our end do a very, very good job. If you're looking for everybody uses the internet. It's the most widely used form of information getting. You type in Common Core, you won't get the ministry, you get Norcat. If you get you type in a program number from the ministry, you don't get the ministry, you get Norcat first. And so we've set it up so anybody looking for that information finds Norcat. So it's really come along a really nice way for them.
And it's not only the older individual in a workplace, for someone who's already employed, it's starting as early as high school now. With the SHISM,
I forgot about that.
Specialist High Skills Major, a few years back we put a mandate on, let's see how we can get this training. Health and safety training, good for everybody. Why don't we start them off young? So a lot of students, as they're going into college, university, they already have taken Norcat, WMIS, what have you, in a certain way through us. So that when they do finish college, they do finish university, if they are looking to get trained, they already know about Norcat. They know we exist, they know we're local, they've done our WMIS, and any of the training that stuck with them in their early high school years follows them through.
Now, is that just for the people in the special high
No.
skills majors?
Is it not all Rainbow District School Board?
Rainbow District School, but we have a lot of schools and school boards in and around the city of Greater Sudbury, but we've expanded to down south as well. And even more so than with companies, the word of mouth when it comes to schools and school boards, fantastic. I heard about you through this school, that person, this principal at this other school, and there's always a set rate. So when a teacher calls us, knowing that it's a SHISM, specialist high skills major, they've got two options to choose from, and they already know what the prices are because we've set this rate. We want to make it as easily accessible, as I said before, to everyone, especially to the students. We realize that it's not always easy to pony up money to put towards a thing like this, so we want to make it as accessible as early in the game as we can for everyone.
A lot of parents would do that. Like, for a year I was going around the schools, the high schools in the area, doing presentation for a private career college. And it's now Everest, it was CDI.
Yeah.
And what was interesting was that as I was going around into the high schools and talking to the grade 10s, 11s, and 12s about private career colleges and how they were geared to compress the training into a short period of time, and how they were mainly established for older adults who were changing careers or had to get into a different career. What was happening was I was getting an awful lot of these younger people saying, well, this is kind of interesting, because if I went and took a university degree and I wanted to get into a particular field and I needed a certificate, I wouldn't have to go and take another 3-year course at let's say a community college. I could go to a private career college and take a 32-week course every day, 5 hours a day, get it faster, and then I'd be able to accelerate and be qualified. And the interesting thing was, nobody knew about this option. It was like, oh, we didn't realize this existed.
Getting that information out is sometimes half the battle.
Yeah,
That's true.
All of a sudden, oh, that's another option. That's what, it's not just for older people. And I'm looking at, like we talked about this before, we did a whole radio show before we came on.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was
We
great.
touched on it.
It's a good show.
It was a good show, yeah.
It just wasn't on air.
We've got so many people now who are in their 40s, 50s, 60s who are looking for something else. I always say that when you hit a certain age, you're more interested in, you're not interested in success, you're interested in satisfaction. So you're looking for being significant, you're looking for getting into something that you've always wanted to do, and you maybe only want to do it for 7 or 10 years, but Norcat basically provides you the ticket to make a switch.
Well, it certainly gives you the options.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a one-stop shop, and I know that sounds, a little greedy, but we do offer guidance. We have.
You have guidance too.
We have
consulting.
technical guidance. We provide as incubator programs where if you've got some ideas and you want to start something off, we provide technical guidance, income guidance, an area for you to start off. So if you've got an idea but not much money, Norcat has got all the offices, all the areas, so we don't just want to train you and set you go. There's all kinds of things.
So this must be an advantage of being a private not-for-profit, where what the market conditions are asking for, you can offer. You don't have to go and get reestablished or refranchised, or it's like, if this is what the people need, let's
Isn't
add
it
it to our
funny how
portfolio.
isn't it, sometimes you look at something and go, how come it takes you so long to get this done? And you realize, well, we don't have to wait that long. We're not breaking any rules, we're not,
It's like a
we're not
private
bending
company.
anything.
If there's
This
a
is
need
just how
out
it
there.
works when it's private, which allows the end user a little bit more freedom and quickness to move around.
And you must be successful, because it's a not-for-profit, but it's not a for-loss organization.
Right.
So I mean, you're putting the money back into the personnel.
We
who
need
are
to make
providing
enough
the
money every
services
year to be able to pay the rent for the next year.
and pay your mortgage.
That's how it works.
70,000 square foot building, that must be
It's a nice
It's a
building.
beautiful building.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful building.